Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Quick announcement before we begin, today's video has two stories, both of them have updates. Now let's get started. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user VirtualRide3722. Am I the a-hole for reporting my best friend to HR because she got our coworker fired for harassment? I think I, 26 female, just lost my best friend, 27 female, of 5 years over this. So I and my best friend Amy, fake name, have known each other since our college days. I love her like my sister, she's a huge part of my life. After graduation, we got jobs in the same company. I was ecstatic as I really liked the idea of us being together even after college. So here is the incident. One of our co-workers, 27 male, Steve, likes Amy. He asked her out on a date. He was planning on quitting the company after 2 months as he got a better job opportunity abroad. Amy is currently single and is looking for a relationship. The thing is that Amy started hating Steve as he got the job abroad to which she had also applied. When Steve asked her out, Amy declined it in a friendly way and told him not to bring that up later. It was going all good until one of my other co-workers told me that Steve had been fired from our company and his job abroad is also at stake as somebody reported him for workplace harassment. I was shocked and confused. He was a good guy, like genuinely, he was a good guy even when Amy talked about him. Later that evening, Amy told me that it was she who reported him to HR for harassment. I asked her what happened and apparently he told her that he still likes her. So, to recap, he asked her out for the first time like 3 months ago and about 3 weeks ago he told her he still likes her. And no, he did not ask her out again, he just casually slipped the fact while they were in the break room. He is supposed to leave the company next week to go abroad. Anyway, I asked her if he had misbehaved with her. She effing laughed at my face when I was concerned about her. She then proceeded to tell me that she just didn't like the guy. She hated that he got the job. So when Steve talked to her, she saw it as a chance to make him lose his new job as she was the next in line to get that job. She then told me that she felt sorry for him as she thought that Steve would only lose his new job, not the one that he has in our company. I got furious and shouted at her that I will inform about this to the company and went home. I don't know what to do. If I report her to HR, then Amy's career will be over. But at the same time, I want to help Steve. I just can't look at Amy the same way. Amy's family has been texting and calling me the a-hole. They are furious at me as I said I'll report her to HR. I am feeling betrayed by her. I don't know what made her do this. Am I the a-hole for wanting to report against Amy? No, OP, you're not the a-hole, and honestly, I don't know what you're waiting for. Amy clearly isn't your friend if she's got her whole family on your back calling you the a-hole because you're going to report her for doing the horrible thing that she did. She didn't just get a guy fired and probably lose his next job. This is a life-ruining lie. And the whole sucky thing about this is that even now that you know the truth and will report Amy, I hope you do, this doesn't mean that Steve's name is in the clear or he will be cleared of everything that Amy has accused him of. Sure, it might say that in his file, but the rumors will spread. That sucks. OP, honestly, if you do not report Amy and help Steve out, you will be the a-hole. You are not the a-hole for wanting to report Amy. That is what you have to do with the knowledge that you have. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Give me your judgment in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what their judgment was. Horrible Wife 69 says, think about all the other people who agonize about coming forward about sexual harassment. Amy made a mockery of their experiences, pain, and suffering. She is making it harder for people who are actually harassed to be taken seriously. She's also messing with another person's career and reputation. Report what Amy did and use the text messages as proof. Also, tell Steve what she did. Hopefully, he sues her for slander. This goes beyond my friend. If she's willing to stab someone in the back with a sexual harassment complaint, what else is she willing to do to further her career? Not the a-hole, but you will be if you don't report her. Also, watch your back. She might come back with a BS complaint saying you're victim shaming and go to HR. Three Ring Crap Show says, not the a-hole. By calling her out, you've painted a target on yourself, and your vicious, dishonest, manipulative friend is going to come after you to neutralize you before you can report her to HR. You must talk to HR about this as soon as possible. If you have evidence, then give it to them, including her family's harassment and threats. Make sure they know that you feel she will now target you for refusing to stay silent. That her false accusations have harmed Steve's next job prospects as well, and that they need to reach out and fix this if possible. Her false accusations may have left them open to a lawsuit from Steve. She's not your friend, and if she's the kind of person who would destroy someone else's life to get ahead, then you're well rid of her. Motorlink 9005 says, not the a-hole for wanting to report Amy. What she is doing isn't right. Do you really want to see an innocent man lose out on a job opportunity over false allegations? These false allegations won't just prevent him from getting his new job abroad, but it will follow him wherever he goes. He was just fired for harassment. He now can't even ask them for a reference. You know how hard it's going to be when you can't even use your old employer as a reference? If she is willing to do this to Steve, you damn well better believe she is willing to do it to you if she thinks it means a better opportunity for her. Why would you want a friend that behaves like this? Harassment is a serious accusation. They could go after him criminally for it, and you want that as your friend? Take copies of all the texts and go to HR. Acceptable Bear 3591 says, not the a-hole, but you would be the a-hole if you don't report it to HR immediately. She may have damaged this man's career for no other reason than for her own personal gain. She is a toxic and bitter woman who damaged her career all on her own. You might be able to, and I'm not sure, take it a step further and go to the company HR of his new employer after reporting her to your HR and tell them the situation as well. This woman is not your friend. What do you think she's going to do to you if you ever stood in her way of something she wanted? What if you were going to marry a man that she decides she wants? She'd do everything to ruin your relationship so that she could have him. Reeve Wen says, not the a-hole, that's bloody evil. Report her before she starts a chain that ruins a man's life. This sort of thing can spiral quickly and destroy his career. You would be the a-hole if you don't go to HR immediately. It will weigh on your heart for the rest of your life. I just saw on the news of this same thing happening to a guy. He was accused of the same thing, which destroyed his life and career. Even after it came out he was innocent, it was too late. You don't know what this sort of false accusation can do to a person. Be a good person and tell the truth. She has only herself to blame if she's fired. No matter what happens, your friendship is essentially over. Accept that now. She's shown you her true colors, vindictive and willing to destroy a person for her own gain. That's sick. Snarkisms says, not the a-hole, this is foul, vicious, cruel, and hateful behavior. I have a few choice terms for people like this, but all of them will get me banned from this sub, so I will just say that you absolutely need to report this to HR. And if Amy texts you, screenshot that crap and take it to HR as proof. This is the lowest of the low, and she needs to be punished for this. OP's edit. I went to work today and learned that he was not fired but was suspended until the HR investigation is done, and they are withdrawing the recommendation the company made for his new job until the investigation is done, which will result in him losing the new job. I'm going to talk to Amy and apologize to her so that I can hear the entire story about what she told HR. Okay, well, the whole community is behind OP, telling her that she needs to report her awesome friend Amy for what she's doing. Everybody agrees that it's disgusting and evil and it shouldn't be done. So now, let's move on to the update to see what OP ended up doing and how this story ends. But of course, it's that time that before we get to the update, I show you another playlist like this one that only has videos with, guess what, updates on them. Now, let's move on to the update to this story. A lot of this happened after the original post. I read all the comments and thank you for all of your opinions. I decided to do what I felt was essential. I gathered screenshots of the messages Amy and her family had sent me over the past few days. Those screenshots were more than enough proof of Amy's intentions. I messaged Steve and asked him what exactly was the situation between him and Amy. He was hesitant to talk to me because he knew Amy and I were close. After talking to Steve, we both realized how effed up things that Amy did were, and apparently she was effing bad-mouthing me around the office, her best friend. So Steve told me that Amy was the one initiating the conversation about his interest towards her the second time. She asked him if he had an interest in her and he agreed. I guess she was scheming it already? I don't know why she would go as far as this. Then she told HR that Steve had harassed her to sleep with him. Amy provided a screenshot of the message Steve had sent her when he first asked her out as evidence to HR. Now coming to my problem. I don't think Amy was really my friend. I was just something she wanted as a support system, nothing more. Amy told me that the job to which she and Steve had applied to was only for our company selected candidates. But no, it was not. It was an open position that she knew about from Steve. She never told me about all these things. She purposely hid these things from me. I didn't confront her because I'm crushed now. I'll definitely confront her though. Anyway, HR gave Steve his recommendation letter back and assured him that his new job will not be affected. Amy is suspended for false accusations and for harassing and threatening me via texts. Steve is still suspended as HR discovered that he asked his coworker out. Well, Steve was gonna quit the company this week anyway. And he will be joining his new company next month. Good for him, and I guess I just got a new friend. Alright OP, I'm gonna call this a positive update because apparently Steve's life wasn't ruined, but it's not a happy update because Amy didn't end up getting what she deserved. She just got suspended. And this is for false accusations of harassment and for harassing and threatening OP. OP, it's a good thing that you don't have Amy in your life anymore. Hopefully she will get fired so you don't have to see her at work either. But anyways OP, here's wishing both for you and Steve all the best in the future. Take care. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning of the video, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user throwaway not invite. Am I the a-hole for not inviting them to my Christmas party after they didn't invite me to their wedding? I throw a pretty big Christmas party every year going on a decade now. A few years ago, at one I threw, my friend Tara met my former coworker Tony and they hit it off. They dated for a while and 2 years later at my Christmas party again, she showed up with a ring on her finger and they announced for the first time that they were engaged. I was super happy for them. They got married this spring and we didn't get invited. When I was sending around my party invitations this year, I didn't see any reason to invite them back if they didn't think I was worthy of making their guest list. I have known them both for years, basically introduced them, and they literally announced their engagement at my home. Well, it got back to me today that they're very upset with us for not inviting them this year, that my party is something they consider as special and they think I'm being petty. A couple of friends mentioned it was a smaller wedding and they feel like I'm just punishing them. It wasn't though. There were probably 200 people there and I knew at least 50 of them, and I was a little surprised at some of the names that made the cut over us. I didn't make a stink about it or anything, but I don't see why I should welcome them into my home again after being snubbed like that. My partner thinks I should just let it go and invite them back, but I don't see a reason why I should. Am I the a-hole? What? Of course not OP, not the a-hole. So they think they're entitled to an invitation to your party because it is special to them? Ha! Laughable. To that I would say, this is my party and home. It's about my friends. It's not about you. You did have a party that was about you, that's your wedding, and apparently it was a very nice party, but I wouldn't know because I wasn't invited. But I totally get it because the same thing happened to me. You just didn't make the cut this year. Or maybe I'm just too petty. Bottom line OP is it's your party and no one is entitled to an invitation. You and your partner are the ones who decide. So I suggest you talk to him and agree on something. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see their judgments. Natural Garbage 7674 says, not the a-hole. Normally, I'd say that they can invite or not invite whoever they want to their wedding, but by that same logic, you can invite whoever you want to your party. You're upset they didn't invite you, they're upset you didn't invite them. The difference is they're using your Christmas party as a celebration of their relationship. They feel entitled to your Christmas party because it's important to their relationship, but they don't view you as important. They'll keep using your party to announce life events because they feel entitled to your party as a celebration of them. 200 people is not a small wedding, but if they think it is, you have 2 new friends you've invited and you just couldn't fit them in too. So sorry, darlings. It's just a small party. You understand, right? OK Macaron 6211 says, not the a-hole. If your friends bring it up again, I would say something like, they don't actually want to see me though, do they? They want to come to my house because that's where they met and announced their engagement. They are upset because they use my party, which I lovingly arrange for people I care about, as a nostalgic relationship moment. They don't actually care about me and my partner and what the party is actually about, which is friendship. They only care that it's special for them. I am sure they wouldn't even be talking to other people about the party if I had a summer garden party and didn't invite them. Nickit92 says, not the a-hole. You can invite and not invite whoever you want without any reason. If they want one, it's a smaller party this year. Winky face. Additional information from OP's comments. We never asked why we weren't invited to their wedding, but for the record, we didn't mind at all. We were happy for them. I just took it to mean we weren't as close as I thought we were and let it go. It got back to me through a mutual friend. They were trying to limit the guest list. Now, I don't think I would have minded as much if they didn't invite people from our group, but I'm not exaggerating when I say over 50 of our friends were there. I just think it's kind of funny they're getting our friends to try and get them an invite now after they just pretended we weren't a part of their lives. I did introduce them, not with the idea of setting them up or anything, more like introducing one group of friends to another and they hit it off. They did use my party as an engagement announcement. I guess it kind of made sense. They had just gotten engaged a couple of days before and hadn't made it public yet. All of our friends were there and everyone, including us, was excited for them. I thought of her as a pretty close friend. She'd come over all the time to hang out when she was single. He was a former co-worker, so not as close, but we double dated a bit earlier in the relationship before the pandemic. Now, for those of you asking about the party, it's an event. Over the last few years, we have literally had it catered, had bartenders inside and outside, and even hired someone to entertain kids earlier in the night. My partner and I put so much time, energy, and money into this every year because we love our friends. It started out small when we were younger, and now it's this big thing. I just don't like being taken for granted. Now, I'm not petty enough to make a big deal out of it. If it's really so important to them that they need to crash, then more power to them, I guess, but I'm certainly not going out of my way to welcome them. Okay, well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and OP gave us a lot more context and seems really chill with this whole thing. So now let's just move on to the update to see how this story ends. Dang y'all, I never expected my post would blow up the way it did. Since I got so many requests to check back in, here's the update. I stuck to my guns and did not invite them to my Christmas party. My partner stood by me when I told him I made my decision and didn't bring it up again, and neither did our friends. Many of you guessed that they would try and crash our party. I got worried that could happen after all the responses, but thankfully it didn't. Probably 100+ of you guessed she wanted to hijack the party to announce she was pregnant. If that's the case, they haven't told anyone as far as I know. They did, however, decide to try and throw their own party at the same time as ours. Several friends told us they were trying to convince them to come to theirs instead. I honestly hope they had some guests and had a great time. I wish them no ill will, but I think just about everyone we expected came to our party, so I doubt they poached any guests from us. They made enough of a last-minute fuss over this that the whole thing became the gossip of our party, their doing, not mine. I chose to not engage in it, but the consensus I heard was everyone thought it was bizarre they chose not to invite us to their wedding, and that their complaints about not being invited to our party were in poor taste. The most common question on Reddit was, why did we not get an invite to their wedding? From what I can tell from people at our party gossiping about the situation, they've said it was because we're a little bit older than they are. I think that's weird since my partner and I are both 35 and they're 28 and 29, so it's not like we're very far apart. Tara used to hang out with us at least once a week when she was single, and I literally introduced them. The whole thing still seems strange to me, but I guess it is what it is. So yeah, that's how it all went down. Our party was a blast. We got to see so many friends, some of which we haven't really seen since before COVID. Everyone had a great time. People literally brought toddlers we hadn't gotten to meet yet because of how crazy the world has been over the last couple of years. It was a wonderful evening. I hope you all had as good of a Christmas as we did. Well, OP, sounds like your party was awesome and you had a great time. Sad to lose a friendship like that, but I guess they just didn't consider you guys their friends. Anyways, all the best in the future, OP, and thank you so much for sharing. Take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.